This is Talk Radio.
Outspoken opinions and decisive debate. Jamie East on Talk Radio.
What a song. What a song. I'm educating you now. We're going to go on a Balearic theme for the rest of the show. Love a bit of Balearic. That's Double, Captain of a Heart. What a song. Welcome back to Talk Radio. It's me, Jamie East, with until 4. David Chawner's on the line. Dave, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, Tommy. Really enjoying that. That's a lovely change for a Sunday.
Oh,
I like that song.
It's a top tune. It's a top tune. Now, yeah. So I'm going to drag you down a bit though, and because we're going to have to talk about Christmas Day, the viewing figures of Christmas Day. The ratings have been revealed. I mean, Gavin and Stacey had a great one, didn't they?
17.1 million views. It's the most scripted TV show of the 2010s, and over a decade since it first broadcast. It was amazing, to be honest, and also like trending on Twitter. It was, I think it kind of eclipsed the Queen's speech. I think it's fair to say that, isn't it, really?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're going to do it. They've got to do a series now, surely.
Yeah, I balk at that idea because I think sometimes I think one of the best things about writing is knowing when to stop rather than when to go
I agree.
on.
Yeah, that's true, but they're going to do it though, aren't they? James Corden won't be able to resist it.
Yeah, you know what? I think he, out of all of the cast, is a really interesting one because stateside, 17.1 million.
He doesn't need to do it. Yeah, he gets that every day.
You know what I mean? Like the amount of money that he's on and actually flying him back. And the fact that he and Ruth Jones might have time to work together. I don't know. I don't think that he needs it particularly. I think the other cast, like Dawn and Nick and, even the guys that play Gavin and Stacey, I think they would probably be pushing for it more than James Corden, but I might be wrong.
It's a bit like the Blur reunion. Everyone else had to persuade Damon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's also I don't know if you remember, it was Live Aid when they got Pink Floyd back together. They still hated each other and they stood about 20 foot away from each other. And I think that would be really sad with Gavin and Stacey that has such a kind of cultural place in people's hearts that if it did actually just become another I want to get a new extension, so I've got to write another series.
Well, that's why Damon allowed the Universal to be used on the British Gas adverts, because the rest of them were so skint, and he said they could have it, but only the instrumental. True story.
That's amazing. Imagine being that level of fame.
I know.
Give it to British Gas.
So that was the most watched, and I think universally kind of everybody loved it. No one really kind of questioned. It seemed to be quite a deserved one. Mrs. Brown's Boys, on the other hand, what is going on there, Dave? Talk to me about this. I don't understand.
Well, the interesting thing about Mrs. Brown's Boys is, as I have a Northern Irish girlfriend, it has the cultural clout, and I think it's just pretty much everyone in Northern Ireland. It's like conscription. You have to watch it.
Right.
Which I think is frustrating because there are better things to come out of Northern Ireland. A classic Channel 4 Derry Girls, brilliantly written, 2 series, strong female cast, but there's no shtick, and it's wonderfully acted, wonderfully directed. People like Tommy Tiernan in it, who's a comedy god. That is far better than Mrs. Brown's Boys. But I think the reason that you see the rise of Mrs. Brown's Boys, Citizen Khan, all of those kind of so-free watching things is you can put them on in the background. There's stuff that you don't have to pay attention to because, let's be blunt, they don't really have captivating or intellectual storylines. It's just the equivalent of putting on a Woolly.
I mean, did you know, for instance, that Mrs. Brown's Boys is the most watched comedy in Jamaica ever? See, we're talking about cultural phenomenon. They are two. That is one part of the world and one TV comedy I would never have married together ever. I mean, I know that isn't Jamaica the biggest importer of Guinness in the world, but that's about as Irish as I think they get. They like their stout, but Mrs. Brown's Boys.
I wonder what the viewership figures are like for Death in Jamaica. I know it's not meant to be a comedy, but I do think you watch the acting, it is hilarious. And I'd like to know what that's like actually in Jamaica, if people like it.
It's just a bit nuts, isn't it? I mean, it just feels like a bit of a relic, and I don't really... It's not even... I mean, what did it get this year? Mrs. Brown's got 4.6 million viewers, which is pretty impressive. But that is half of what it got in 2017. It got 9 million viewers in 2017, so something is going a little bit awry, isn't it?
I also think as well, in terms of viewership figures, what a lot of people forget is that the average viewership of the BBC is like 60 plus, like people in their 60s. And actually, in the next decade, I think it's 3 in 4 people will be over the age of 50. So there is a much more mature viewership. And actually, when you watch terrestrial and stuff like that, then you are aiming at a much more mature audience. And your streaming services like Amazon Prime, Netflix, 4OD, etc., they're the young people. They're the people that are going to the cutting edge comedies.
Now, also, I wanted to talk about ITV's kind of output over Christmas, because there wasn't really any, was there? They gave up. Has the kind of battle for our bums on seats over Christmas Day just finished now? It doesn't seem like anyone's really trying. Admittedly, we had things like, we did have Gavin and Stacey, Strictly Come Dancing Christmas, and the Queen's speech. But apart from that, it was just a regular day on telly, wasn't it? People have just stopped caring.
I think I think you can see it negatively, but you can also see it positively as well. And I think what we're going to see is a rise in creativity of people putting out like maybe videos on social media, or actually streaming services going peak and doing something, because they have to do something special to survive. And I think people, I don't think that, for the past 30, 40 years, it was okay to just do the same thing and to get, Eric and, Morecambe and Wise back on TV. But I think you've got to be inventive, creative, and get something new now.
Yeah, no, I agree. We're asking people for recommendations of what to watch. I've just finished Succession season 2, 6 months after everybody else, so I thought I'd find out what else is out there. What are you watching?
Well, I think, if I'm a comedy fan, so I'd say I really love Derry Girls. I think that's one of the best sitcoms that's out there at the moment. If you haven't seen it, I implore you to see it. I also think huge rise in adult cartoons. Bob's Burgers is brilliant. You can watch that on YouTube. You can see
Bob's Burgers. Okay.
Bob's Burgers is brilliant. It's written by Seth Rogen and the same people. So it's kind of like a family comedy. It's good. It's something to fall asleep to. It's brilliant. It's kind of like Family Guy, but with more story.
Okay. What's the age group? What kids can watch it? Any at all?
To be honest, I think that's one of the things that I quite like about it. It's one of the few things that's universal out there. I reckon 12 plus, you're absolutely fine.
Okay.
But it is funny and it is good. And Archer as well on Netflix, that's more of an adult one. Very engaging, very funny, very witty sort of cartoon out there. But also, again, comedy specials. This, I think, we're going to see as the year of, we're going to see a lot more of Ivo Graham. You're going to see a lot more of Joel Dommett. You're going to see a lot more of those. I mean, even people like Matt Ewan's wonderful live at the BBC set. And I would say those sort of people are really exciting to see for comedy.
And what about you? What are you up to? Tell the listeners what your plans are. What's going on in your life?
So I'm just about to go off on a UK tour starting next week, which is very nice, and then going around there doing loads of bits and bobs. I've just written a couple of articles for like magazines and working on a short film at the moment. But the big thing is I'm working on a new show for Edinburgh about how dogs can save humanity.
What dogs?
Dogs. I think that's a reasonable suggestion that like dogs can save.
I'm down with that. I mean, not my dogs. My dogs are idiots, but some dogs, I'm sure. Yeah, my dogs are absolute blithering idiots.
What have you got?
I've got a wire-haired Vizsla and a border terrier. Both of them extremely stupid.
Yeah, but better than humans, though.
Oh, far better than humans. Far better than humans. I mean, they eat their own excrement, which is one downside. I'm talking about the dogs, but that's the only downside, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's technically recycling.
It is. It saves me a few quid. Let's be frank.
You know what I mean?
There's a law of diminishing returns, but it's not that repeatable. But they listen, Dave. Thank you so much, buddy. How can people find out more about you?
So I'm on Twitter at Dave Chawner. I've got a website, davechawner.co.uk, and I've got a book out as well. You can buy it in Waterstones. It's called Great Expectations.
Awesome. And do you take part in fake news on the old talk radios?
Oh, goodness, yes, absolutely. Wonderful Mark Dolan with also Andre Walker, who's the host on. You can see that every Saturday at 9 p.m. My goodness, I should have given that plug. Yeah, every Saturday 9 p.m. And you can also watch it on demand on YouTube on Talk Radio's on demand service.
There we go. Bish bosh. Lovely. Dave Chawner, thank you very much, buddy. Much appreciated. Do go and check that out. You're listening to Jamie East on East World on Talk Radio, powered by The Times. Know your times. See you very, very shortly.
This is
Talk Radio.